The science behind vegetarianism. I never thought I'd be writing about vegetables with such passion. Yet here I am, typing away at 2 a.m., surrounded by research papers and empty tea mugs, trying to explain why what's on our plates matters more than we think. The journey that brought me here? It's a wild one, filled with failed recipes, surprising discoveries, and yes, more than a few confused looks from my meat-loving family. Truth bomb. I used to roll my eyes at vegetarians. You know the type, always preaching about their tempeh and kombucha. My brother-in-law Dave was one of them, showing up at every family barbecue with his mysterious grain bowls and that knowing smile. But then my doctor dropped some concerning news about my cholesterol levels, and suddenly those veggie enthusiasts didn't seem so crazy anymore. Dave, if you're reading this, you were right. There, I said it. So I dove into the research, and holy moly, the rabbit hole goes deep, folks. We're talking mind-blowing studies about health, shocking environmental statistics, and enough scientific evidence to make even the most devoted carnivore scratch their head. What started as a reluctant health journey turned into a full-blown obsession with understanding how our food choices ripple out into the world. Buckle up, because this isn't your typical meat bad, plants good lecture. Let's get personal. Your body on plants. Here's what blew my mind during late-night research sessions. Vegetarians typically have lower rates of heart disease. Why? Less saturated fat, more fiber. It's like giving your arteries a spa day instead of making them run a marathon through thick sludge. Remember my Uncle Pete, who swore by his bacon-wrapped everything? He switched to a plant-based diet after his second heart scare, and now he's running 5Ks at 65. Who would have thought? The fiber thing? Game changer. Not only does it help you poop better, yeah, I said it, but it also keeps your blood sugar from doing the cha-cha. Plus, you can eat more food while consuming fewer calories. As someone who loves to eat, seriously, my college nickname was Bottomless Pit. This was revolutionary information. I can now pile my plate high with roasted vegetables, grains, and legumes without that post-meal guilt trip. Studies show vegetarians have lower risks of type 2 diabetes and certain cancers. It's those antioxidants. Think of them as your body's personal SWAT team, taking out cellular bad guys before they can cause trouble. And let's talk about inflammation, the silent troublemaker behind everything from acute joint pain to skin issues. Plant-based diets are naturally anti-inflammatory, which explains why my persistent knee pain mysteriously improved after a few months of vegetarian eating. But let's keep it real. You can totally be an unhealthy vegetarian. Trust me, I spent my first month living on potato chips and Oreos. Not my proudest moment. I called it the junk food vegetarian phase, and my energy levels were about as impressive as a sloth on sedatives. The key is focusing on whole, minimally processed foods. You know, the stuff that actually looks like it came from the earth. The surprising benefits nobody talks about. Here's something they don't tell you in the vegetarian brochures. Your taste buds actually change. No joke. After about 3 months without meat, I started tasting subtle flavors I'd never noticed before. Suddenly, a perfectly roasted sweet potato was as satisfying as a steak ever was. And mushrooms? Don't even get me started on the magical world of mushrooms. There are varieties that taste like seafood, others that have a meat-like texture, and some that are just plain weird but wonderful. Sleep quality is another unexpected bonus. I used to toss and turn all night, blaming everything from stress to my mattress. Turns out, plant-based diets can help regulate your sleep patterns. Something about the combination of complex carbs and minerals, I'm looking at you, magnesium-rich leafy greens, helps your body find its natural rhythm. And energy levels? Once I got past the junk food phase, it was like someone had replaced my batteries with industrial-strength power cells. No more afternoon slumps, no more food comas, just steady energy throughout the day. Mother Earth says thanks. Ready for some numbers that'll make your head spin? Producing 1 pound of beef gulps down 1,800 gallons of water. That's 3 months of showers, people. Meanwhile, vegetables are sipping a modest 50 gallons per pound, like they're having a small cup of tea. When California was in the midst of its worst drought, this statistic hit different. I started seeing every burger as a small swimming pool of water, and suddenly, those black bean patties looked a lot more appealing. Here's a fun fact that made me spit out my coffee. Livestock farming hogs 80% of agricultural land, but only gives us 18% of our calories. Talk about a bad roommate situation. Imagine sharing an apartment where your roommate takes up 4/5 of the space, but only contributes 1/5 of the rent. You'd be looking for a new living situation pretty quick, right? The Cultural Revolution. Something fascinating is happening in our food culture. Traditional cuisines that were naturally plant-based are finally getting their moment in the spotlight. Indian, Ethiopian, Mediterranean. These cultures have been doing vegetarian food right for centuries. My local Ethiopian restaurant has become my go-to spot for showing skeptical friends how amazing plant-based eating can be. That injera bread with spiced lentils? Game changer. The restaurant industry is catching on too. Even steakhouses are adding substantial vegetarian options to their menus. Not just sad side salads, but proper, thought-out dishes that could make a carnivore jealous. Last month, I watched my meat-loving dad order a grilled portobello steak voluntarily and actually enjoy it. The times, they are a-changing. The psychology of change. Let's talk about something nobody mentions, the emotional journey of changing how you eat. It's not just about swapping ingredients. It's about reimagining your entire relationship with food. Those family recipes passed down for generations, they might need some tweaking. Holiday traditions? Time for some creative alternatives. I remember the first Thanksgiving after going vegetarian. My mom almost had a meltdown when I told her I wouldn't be eating her famous turkey. But you know what? It led to some amazing conversations about family, tradition, and how we can honor our heritage while making new choices. Now she makes an incredible mushroom Wellington that even the turkey devotees want to try. Real talk. The struggles. Look, I'm not going to pretend switching to vegetarianism is all rainbow quinoa bowls and perfect Instagram photos. That first month, I practically lived at the grocery store, reading labels like they were thriller novels. I once spent 45 minutes in the tofu aisle, frantically Googling the difference between silken and extra firm. The struggle was real. The B12 thing is real. It's the one nutrient you can't get from plants. But here's the secret. Nutritional yeast, sounds weird, tastes like cheese, and fortified foods have got your back. I keep a shaker of Nooch, that's what the cool kids call nutritional yeast, next to my salt and pepper now. It's like fairy dust for your food. Iron? Spinach, my friends. Pop some vitamin C-rich foods alongside, and you're golden. Think spinach salad with orange slices. Your body will thank you. I learned this the hard way after a few months of feeling like I was running on empty. A little food combining knowledge goes a long way. And those meat alternatives? They've come a long way from the cardboard-flavored hockey pucks of yesteryear. Some of them even bleed beet juice now. Science is wild. Though, let's be honest, some of them still taste like someone's idea of meat who's never actually eaten meat. It's okay to skip these entirely and stick to whole plants. Nobody's giving out awards for most convinced by fake meat. The plot twist. Here's what nobody tells you about going vegetarian. It's not an all-or-nothing deal. You don't get kicked out of the club for occasionally craving a burger. Every plant-based meal counts. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Some of the most committed vegetarians I know started with just one meatless day a week. Sometimes I'll catch myself getting excited about Brussels sprouts. Past me would be horrified, but present me? I'm too busy discovering that eggplant, when cooked right, can taste better than bacon. Fight me on this. The joy of finding new favorite foods is real. Last week, I caught myself impulse buying a jackfruit. A jackfruit. Who even am I anymore? The future of food. We're living in exciting times for plant-based eating. Scientists are developing new protein sources from sustainable ingredients. Chefs are pushing the boundaries of what's possible with vegetables. Farmers are rediscovering ancient grains and heirloom varieties of produce, that we're almost lost to time. The next generation seems to get it intuitively. My niece's school has a vegetable garden where kids learn about growing food. She came home the other day excited about eating a carrot she'd planted herself. When I was her age, I thought carrots came from the grocery store, pre-peeled and packaged in plastic bags. The community aspect won. Unexpected benefit of this journey has been the amazing community. Vegetarians love sharing recipes, tips, and encouragement. Join some online groups, follow some veggie-focused social media accounts, or check out local meetups. Some of my closest friendships started with conversations about favorite tofu preparations or best places to find exotic ingredients.